our movie night. This week's episode was picked by Kyle. It's 1995, and we're watching The Fear.
Is it a spring break movie? Is it a Christmas movie? Is it a Halloween movie? We don't know.
You cannot tell based on the color of the leaves.
No, but this was definitely a VHS cover that I distinctly remember seeing regularly. And
was this a first watch for all three of us?
Oh yeah.
No,
I've
watched this one before.
I was gonna say Kyle knew what he was getting us into, but
though I did forget. I often forgot which plot was The Fear and which one was The Fear 2. I sort of mixed those up in my head. So this was a joy. It checked a lot of boxes for the Kyle. There was like maybe incest. There was
that wasn't maybe incest. That was legitimate incest.
That was legit. It was like foster home incest, which is not okay. And then there was it was a mannequin type thing.
Leslie's fault. She knew. She's the one who birthed Vince or whatever his name. Troy. She knew it was her son, not her brother, stepbrother, whatever.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
No, and it has psychology and maybe Santa Claus and an amusement park. Black Peter.
Listen, you know I was loving that Christmas dark ride in the amusement park.
Dude, it was great. So it was Santa Land, which I was like, oh, this is filmed in New Hampshire, and it's not. It was in California. There's a Santa Land out there.
I know that I have been by a Christmas themed thing on some in the middle of fucking nowhere sometime with Megan. I do not know where. It's driving me nuts. And I was like,
it is.
Well, there is Christmas Village in New York.
Yes.
Right?
That had to have been.
New York, New Hampshire. It's one of the
news.
There might be both.
Also, there's isn't that the Christmas city, that Christmas town in Michigan?
Oh, fuck that place.
Why?
I don't know.
You love Jesus and Matt loves Christmas. You guys have nothing to complain about.
You know what I don't love, though, and we will start here. We've talked about it. Starting a movie with just a random out-of-context quote.
Never works.
Never works. This
bad font choice, too.
Yeah, the only devil is fear.
Very Stephen King of you.
Yeah.
Writer, director, actor.
But I very quickly forgave the dumb out-of-context quote because... boy, was I loving this opening dream sequence with these weird-ass wooden masks. Like, I was like, I'm all in.
But then we find out that they're not wooden, they're just rubber.
Yeah.
They're just rubber.
But, like,
man,
why were they hanging on the wall in the future, like, or in the present tense, if they're not wooden? That was, like, the only thing that I could not get past. Not the essay, not the incest. It was literally the fact that they weren't wooden masks.
Yeah. No,
Dude,
I mean...
not just the masks. Anything that was and should have been wood in that house, including occupants named Morty.
Morty, not Monty.
What a wild call for this entire movie in which Morty physically moves roughly 10 times to have every shot of Morty be an actor in makeup. I could not believe it.
It had to have been cheaper than making a life-size replica of him and tossing him in a... No, didn't they actually have a replica when they open up that drawer, bed drawer, whatever it's
I
called?
think that's a dude still, because when they do the close-ups, when they're like petting his heads and stuff, I'm like,
what?
This is so awkward to look at.
I loved it, though. It was because the eyes. They had to have the eyes be realistic. You know, it's kind of genius.
Dude, so I think that my favorite thing is that they were just really trying to sell us on Morty being a character. All the way down to having Wes Craven as a cameo.
Well, so this is what I was going to ask you, Kyle.
Fucking crazy.
Who is this guy who made this movie that he has somehow got the pull to get Wes Craven, of all people, to just show up and play a role?
Wes Craven in 95.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
right.
where
we're talking after New Nightmare. Like, it's insane to me.
This is in between New Nightmare and
Scream. He did it as a favor because he was probably like, well, who knows if Scream's going to fucking do anything.
Yeah. So to be honest, I really don't know about Vincent Robert. Now, the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray does have a motherfucking commentary that I almost immediately went back and listened.
You should
I
have.
did. I was like, I almost was just like, Carly, we're staying up another hour and a half. Like, we're doing this. He wrote Red Surf, which I've talked about on the show before with George Clooney. It was like a first thing that he did. But as far as like, this is the only thing he's directed. The only thing he's directed. He's written a few TV movies and like episodes of TV, but this is the only thing he's directed.
All right.
And he didn't even write it.
I've got something insane to say real quick, because I was like, maybe if I go to Wes Craven's Wikipedia page, there'll be something, right? Like, I've been on people's Wikipedia pages who've had prolific careers, and they have, like, when you click the career tab, it's like the early years from this time period to this time period. And Wes Craven's entire career on Wikipedia is 6 paragraphs. I feel like that is insane. that's
uncalled for. That's inappropriate.
Yeah, and one of the paragraphs just says, Craven created Coming of Rage, a 5-issue comic book series with 30 Days of Knight writer Steve Niles.
Okay.
Yeah, like that is great. Such a weird
What else has he done?
This guy sounds kind of interesting. We should probably talk about him.
The first paragraph is just about him filming porn. Second paragraph is about Last House on the Left. Third paragraph is about The Hills Have Eyes. Fourth paragraph is that he created Nightmare on Elm Street. And then it just jumps to the history of Nightmare on Elm Street. And then that's the end. They mentioned no reference to Scream anywhere in his
biggest movie. Like I would argue that Scream is okay. Is that a hot take? Scream is a bigger movie, has a bigger legacy than Nightmare on Elm Street.
I think that Scream 1 is probably a bigger movie than any individual Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but I think the overall franchise of Nightmare might be bigger, but it's hard to say now that we're up to 6 of them. I think
it's a hot take to say at a convention. Yeah. I think that like it's an appropriate hot take to say in front of a crowd. I think that like
say that in this spring?
I think that you're right, because like I don't know, I work with the people that I work with are younger than me by
significantly younger
7-8 years, right? And like they fucking love Scream. Like
Scream
love
like
Ghostface. Like that's their nightmare.
Yeah,
like, that truly is their nightmare, which is amazing to think about the legacy of that. We'll have to write another paragraph for Mr. Crazy.
Yeah, we need to really. He deserves
which
that.
one of us wants to put in the effort to actually be approved? Whatever, Matt. You don't have enough hobbies. Go do it.
Oh, what was that sound?
We'll do it. Oh, I got tattered backstory. Because goddamn, and there's a wood paneling here.
Yeah.
Because goddamn, the backstory of Morty and our guy is a lot. What do you got?
I have teak, Urban Artifact teak tropical sour. I don't like the taste of it, but I didn't think I would. But I didn't think would. But I knew that nothing would top teak as far as a wood monster.
Incredible. Well, cheers to fears.
Cheers to fears. While you guys are taking a sip, I want to talk about this movie's soundtrack.
The Casio keyboard soundtrack?
Did you watch with subtitles? Did anybody watch with subtitles?
Mine didn't come with subtitles.
I watched it on Tubi. Oh my god,
you guys.
You guys didn't watch it on Tubi, did you?
No, I got my double feature DVD that I bought at the Retro Attic, and Kyle had his Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray, which also has a commentary track that this double disc DVD does not have. So
yeah, I'll have to report back when I listen to that track. I was obsessed with this movie last night.
This movie soundtrack, here's the thing. At first, my first note I wrote was this hippie guy with dreads listening to Kmart ODB.
Yeah.
Then later on, I made a reference to the fact that the reggae song sounds like a Kmart version of UB40.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that I was like, I need to look up this soundtrack.
If it actually is UB40.
And what floored me was like most of the artists I only kind of knew. The soundtrack contains a song by Insane Clown Posse, which is not that shocking.
In 95, they probably didn't have the money for much else.
Oh, yeah, this was right before Great Milenko.
Because that was 96, right?
Yeah, so this was they had the song Dead Body Man from fucking Riddlebox on there. But they had multiple songs by the Gravediggers, which is crazy because that is RZA from like Wu-Tang Clan's side project. So how this dude got Wes Craven and one of the dudes from Wu-Tang Clan to buy into this is insane, because hopefully the Vinegar Syndrome looks better, but like this DVD is ripped from a VHS tape easily, and it has that, like, this wasn't shot straight to video, but it could have been type energy.
That's the amazing thing about this movie. I think that it feels it had a budget, but somehow the skill level was still shot very cheap.
Yeah,
like it was, or vice versa. I don't know. The lines are blurred. Scott, I jumped on.
No, it's okay. All I was gonna say was this feels every bit of 1995 direct to video, and that it was charming in that sense because I'm 41 and I would have enjoyed this when I was younger. It's not that I didn't enjoy this. I just felt like this was. I just experienced it. I don't think I really digested it. And that's fine. There's not much to digest.
There's a real pacing problem with this movie. Like, when they get to the cabin, it is like 15 minutes that we're just like having each character individually explain in detail their fears.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
that's not bad pacing. That's good pacing. That's called backstory. What is it called? What kind of backstory is it, Kyle?
That's called guaranteeing that you hit the 90 minutes that you were required to hit for this release. Yeah.
But this movie...
Well, so the crazy thing is it was so inconsistent with their fears. Their fears like barely came back to be anything.
Honestly, why would your fear of being poor mean that you find treasure and then you get bashed on the head with a trapdoor until you bleed out? Also,
well, I don't think so. So there's a lot of this movie that I had to piece together through a very helpful Wikipedia page. The Wikipedia page for the plot summary for The Fear is longer than Wes Craven's career biography on Wikipedia.
Someone loves The Fear more than Wes Craven.
Well, so I think the implication there is he's afraid of being poor. He doesn't just find treasure. It is implied in the Wikipedia that he is taking advantage of everybody being at the Christmas amusement park to just rob the place blind and leave. So Morty is protecting the house. Yeah.
To the sister as well, right?
Yes.
Her company.
Yes. So, like, if we're gonna talk about people's fucking fears, we got to talk about my favorite overacting in film history, Tanya and her fear of water. When she is standing next to this hot tub and there is not a single word of English that has come out of her mouth. She's going, like,
it's because she's Swedish. I mean, I don't know. Is she Swedish? I mean, she has some sort of Russian. I mean, she's
then her follow-up awkward acting is when she does decide to get into the water. And she still isn't just like, she's just like, oh.
She's having the best time in that hot tub. And let me tell you, that's me in the hot tub. We have a hot tub in the backyard. That's me every single time. I am speechlessly just in ecstasy.
I also need to stress
and Tanya
that Morty popping out of the water, great scare. Logistically, how did you not see?
He's made of wood.
He's made of wood. On the Blu-ray, you can see that like they didn't do the makeup under the the eye holes.
Yeah, it's great.
So his eye is just like popping out, and you're just like, oh my god! How do you not? It's in a hot tub where Saint Nick just got out of. But then,
like, it's like, let's think about this through two lenses. First of all, that water wasn't that foamy, so it was a pretty clear water in the hot tub. Secondly, Morty's fucking huge and that hot tub is small, and she's walking around in the hot tub. She had to have
nowhere that
she
she would have not stepped on a foot and been like, oh, what is that? Is that a fish? No, it's Morty. So we probably need to explain the conceit of this movie to the listeners.
The very short version is that this kid is using his family cabin to do his thesis on fear, and he's going to bring all of his friends and people for this experiment where they're going to all face their fears and hopefully get over their fear. And while there, they find Morty, who is a giant wooden mannequin that he remembers from his childhood as being like his only friend when he would be up there with his parents.
They equated it to like a Native American like wooden statue at like a general store.
Yes.
Like that's how they like
not to hint at what someone's double feature could or could not be. But and then basically everybody's being killed and for the most part using their fears against them, but not always. That's not consistent. Troy does not get killed because of his fear of bugs. But
does he even get killed? He gets smacked in the head with a log,
big ass branch. Yeah. But like,
okay. Well, we need to get to the reality of who actually died when we get to the end of the explanation. So
I'm under the impression that literally everybody but our main character and his girlfriend is dead. I think all of them have passed away by the time that the credits roll here. But as we're going through
successful experiment.
Yeah, so nailed it. But before anybody dies, Morty keeps popping up in different places. So people are having sex. Morty's lurking.
He's at the window. Oh my god, that was the. I went in blind, and I was like, I knew that because I picked that for the socials, and I was like, I cannot wait to see how that plays into it, and it was better than I could have imagined.
Oh my god, it's so great. Good. They go into a hot tub. Morty's inside the hot tub. One kid's fear is religion, and Morty is crucified up on the wall at one point. Like it is insane. And my problem with this movie, and this is not like the biggest, well, it is a big issue. The movie is really, really, really fun for a good chunk of the run. And then it gets real focused on Grape multiple times.
But why? Like
and that's what I mean.
Subplot of Troy being the campus grapist is not useful.
It's not useful. It's
so
icky. And then
he doesn't even get killed by Morty.
From that subplot, we bounce into the incest part of it, which is also icky. Like it just gets icky for like 20 minutes for no reason, and that's like the biggest strike on the movie.
You know it's a Kyle pick.
Well, and I was fuck all of you. And unfortunately, that's gonna remain true next month, which is a big fucking bummer for me. Capital B bummer.
Would you say it's a humongous bummer?
Well, so okay, so and this is the weird thing to me is that like the Troy Grape stuff makes the Vance Grape stuff not as icky. It actually almost like the Vance Grape stuff feels like erotic thriller-y to me. Like maybe not well done, but like
you mean when he's touching Mindy's boob in the bubble bath?
In the bubble bath, and
but then her boyfriend's just like, "Hey man, what were you doing?" Like it's pretty fucking
obvious.
He does it twice.
Yeah, he does it twice. His boyfriend's like, "Hey,
what are you doing?
What are you doing in this cabin? I don't know you."
This is another thing that I think is really kind of weird to me is Mindy
That's
and
a
her
stranger.
Mindy and her boyfriend's relationship
makes no sense.
Makes no sense. And like I understand the concept
of
opposites
even dating?
attract. That's what I mean. Like the concept of opposites attract, whatever. Like sure, like there are people who are totally different, but to be someone who is so like overwhelmingly like hippie spiritual, to be with a person who fucking hates religion to the point that it's his biggest fear.
Let me tell you,
I don't see how that relationship works. Like
it doesn't. I can tell you from high school, it doesn't work. Don't try it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's so strange. But yeah, I mean,
everybody gets murdered.
It does make it icky.
Yeah, there's essay, there's incest essay, and then everyone but the protagonist and his girlfriend, ex-fiance girlfriend again, survive, and he tells Morty it's over, and Morty goes and walks into a lake. And it's like, okay, I'm not going to kill anybody else. Or it's implied that he's killing people, but maybe he's not. So then they sell the house for next to nothing, and the realtor and the new owners are there looking at it, and the Byers' son plays soccer by the lake, and Morty is there covered in seaweed, even though lakes don't have seaweed, whatever. He grabs the kid's soccer ball. Wow, Jesus. And the kid goes, "Are you a good guy or a bad guy?" And then he kicks the soccer ball like so hard, and I was like, it's gonna smack that kid in the face, isn't it? No, kid just grabs it and smiles, and then you get like a freeze frame on Morty. It is just,
and it goes into
fantastic.
Cypress Hill, Kmart, Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
So I might be giving this movie
moment.
way too much credit. Way
Maybe.
too much credit. But I feel like that ending scene is supposed to feel like a Frankenstein homage to like the little girl by the lake.
Oh,
like playing a game. And
that's not a reach. That's exactly what it is.
The only other thing that we need to tackle real quick in this is Richard, our main character. He has a fear of commitment that he's had ever since his mom died. And this is
Richard
where
looks like
we get his crazy backstory, which is that his dad and him caught his mom cheating on the dad, and the dad killed him, or killed the mom,
and
mom,
then blamed the kid,
and then blamed the kid for it. And then he finds out that his Uncle Pete, who's like the town Santa Claus, was the guy who his mom was cheating on the dad with.
And she was pregnant with her brother-in-law's kid, thus the reason why the dad murdered him.
Yeah.
Murdered the mom.
What was diametric?
Diametric became matricide, which I think that the writer director really thought he was doing something with a little bit.
There was
that.
many a moment I was like, oh, they think that they are doing a thing here, right? Like, and so I watched this with my psychologist wife, who is also like, okay, but she's also like pinpointing. She's like, oh, this was happening at this point in time in like psychology.
Oh, what was in
like
pop sci?
Yeah. 90s. Like the Esalen Institute was taking retreats and doing all this like really in-depth and like some like immersive stuff in the 70s and 80s. So then you're learning about it in the 90s. So anybody who was like studying that stuff is like now applying it to, and it's so funny because they really thought that they thought that they were doing
there was
something.
A message.
And honestly, at times, they got me. But I also had a lot of Doritos that night. And I
think the Doritos are necessary for this one.
I wrote 2 pages of notes. I was hype. Richard looks like Nick Cage, Jake Gyllenhaal, Judd Nelson, and John Stamos all mixed together at various moments in their careers and lives. And I could not believe this movie. I'm so happy we got to watch it. I know there were some icky moments, but the wooden, not wooden Morty really was even better than I remembered. I'm so happy we watched it.
So I want to talk about what happened after this movie, though, for the director. Vincent Robert,
sure.
As Kyle said, he wrote the screenplay for Red Surf.
I was 89.
In 1990, he was the location liaison for Kindergarten Cop. And I guess he took that Kindergarten Cop money, and 5 years later, he made The Fear, his only directing credit. And then his next credits are assistant location manager for Space Jam and Father's Day, starring Billy Crystal and Robin Williams. Then it's just a giant empty space until about 2008, where it seems like he now has a career as a writer for what seems to be exclusively Spanish television shows. So
that's where the money is, guys.
Oh, and here we go. Brother-in-law of director Ivan Reitman. I think that's how he had some connections for some of these cameos that we got in this movie.
My God.
But all in all, I had fun with this. I bought a double DVD, so I'm going to watch part 2.
But you also...
I'm going to tell you right now, Carly swears by part 2.
All right.
Well,
I don't remember
next Halloween, better pick it because
it's on my list for next Halloween.
The best part about the Fear sequel is that it has 2 names. The original name is The Fear Halloween Night, which is what Kyle has referred to it as. But on IMDb, it's The Fear Resurrection.
Resurrection. Blow me.
Well, now I've got a resurrection.
That's not the worst joke you've ever made, Matt. But what I wanted to say was that I have been kind of tiptoeing around who Darren Heems is. The actor Darren Heems. He played Troy in this.
Okay.
The guy with the dreads.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys recognize him from anything that could have possibly
I thought I looked
been
him up out of curiosity too, or maybe I saw that he
back
didn't.
far enough.
Or maybe I just saw that he didn't have a hyperlink on on Wikipedia, and I said, never mind. He's probably no one famous.
I knew who he was from the second he came on screen, and then I went and I checked his IMDb just to be certain that I wasn't wrong. I was not wrong. He is HMN royalty.
Yes, he is. Okay, I see.
So he was original. What I know him from first is PCU. He's one of the stoners.
He's Dave number 2.
Yeah, he's Dave number 2. The Daves. But then the second thing is that what listeners of the show may recognize him more from is Dr. Giggles. He's the guy who fishes his condom out of the toilet with a toothbrush and then gets murdered.
And then he also appears in Night of the Demons 2 as Z-Boy.
Same character in all 3 movies.
100%.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Dude, I really I need to, Scott, I know sometimes you skim through movies before you pick them. I think I need to start doing it. I need to not pigeonhole myself anymore. No more white dudes with dreads. I can't do it anymore.
I like that. That's a bridge too far for you.
Everything else is you can't avoid it.
Yeah.
But white dudes with dreads, I can steer around some more.
Meanwhile, in New Jersey.
So, Marissa, what talking points do you want to hit on in this week's episode?
Well, Jackie, let's talk about how the film addresses the patriarchy. Ooh, and representation of marginalized people. Ooh, and even philosophical ramifications of good versus evil in horror.
We can point out the triangle boobs, talk about the blood splatter, and the practical effects. And also the male gaze.
My gaze at the males.
Hi-yo! From feminism to fangirling, the Jersey Ghouls cover all the bases of horror from a woman's perspective.
New episodes are uploaded every other Sunday.
Just search Jersey Ghouls to find us on social media and your favorite podcasting app.
If you were doing a weird-ass movie night with this, Kyle, what would you double feature it with? And don't say the Fear Halloween night.
No, though it has crossed my mind and it is an acceptable answer, but not for the show. I would pair it with Pin. Also,
God damn it!
I knew Matt was
going
to be so mad about that.
God damn it!
We haven't watched Pin for the show, right?
Matt, just do Magic. Yeah, we did. Did we do Pin for this show, or was that
we
Reddit Horror
did
Club?
it for Reddit Horror Club years ago.
Please don't pick it. It's not weird enough for this show. It would literally just
I
be
would argue
Matt
it's
and
quite
you.
weird.
The two of
It's
you-
just
No,
not. It's not
I'm
funny.
confusing with Magic. No, Pin.
Yeah.
Pin
No,
we could get an
Magic's-
episode out of.
Magic's a masterpiece and it's lovely
But it's like a 2-man show, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Pin is
Kyle,
weird. It's
put a
not as
pin
weird
in
as
it.
the book. You're right.
Very good. I love it.
Because we will get there. All right. Well, then I'm going to grab this one. I'll watch 1/3 of Creep Show 2.
Good job. Wait. No. Creep Show. The first Creep Show,
Creep
right?
Show 2.
Oh, the one with the old
Chief
Ironhead,
Woodenhead.
Chief
Chief
Woodenhead.
Woodenhead. Yeah.
So I was gonna go with Creep Show 1 because
Ooh.
I swear that the mom, when she comes out of the grave in The Fear, looks exactly like the reanimated corpse of the dad in Creep Show.
So,
But I don't want to watch Creep Show.
So I actually had another anthology film in mind as well here. And it's a deeper cut film, but are you familiar with After Midnight from 1989?
That's the one with the clock on the cover?
Yes.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but
Here's the wraparound story plot. Allison and Cheryl are 2 college students in a new class called The Psychology of Fear.
Oh,
And it's literally each segment is them sharing the stories of what
what
gave
scares
them their biggest fear.
that's
Now,
solid.
let me just do a little audible. I think that the true double feature for this movie, if we are talking about the mom, isn't Creep Show, I don't think that Creepshow 2 really would even fit as well as Spookies, because this movie really has a very
This has some
Spookies
Spookies
vibe.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has
Big ol'
Spookies
spook
energy.
vibes.
Well,
Also,
speaking of-
for the listeners, I told Matt this. Kyle didn't tell anybody this. For my birthday, Kyle found me a VHS copy of Spookies and gifted it to me. Now, I hope that you found that at that $2 thrift store. That
I'm going
the
to tell you,
bookstore.
I've had it for 15 years.
That
and
makes
I
it even more
knew
special.
That it needed to go. I found it at an eBay store, which was just a thrift store that people could go and put. Their
I've
stuff
seen the
at.
40-year-old virgin. I know what an eBay store
Yeah,
is.
you know exactly. Yeah, right.
what is
So
the
you know.
quickest way that I get these shoes from here to my house?
Right. Yes,
But
right.
fuck you, Jonah Hill.
Right.
Yes.
In 2023,
yes.
fuck you, Jonah Hill.
Fuck you, Jonah Hill.
But yes, anyway, so
funny
Kyle,
about that.
you are an absolute angel baby boy.
Well, and I also realized that I sent you not the book that
Books
we were
that you
discussing
shouldn't have sent.
I should
I should have kept those for horror finds.
No. I realized that it was a different movie that we had been talking about at Creature Feature Weekends.
It was Willow, but that's
ago.
no. But you found me Lady Hawk and
No, there was a dragon. It was Dragon Heart we were talking about, not Dragon Slayer, if I remember correctly.
So no, we were talking
Scott's
about
always
the
talking
Willow
about Dragon
novelization, and because I think the Dragon Heart novelization was in your little.
Maybe that's
your carousel of all your books at Creature Feature this spring, and you were like, oh, I had the Willow novelization and it's fucking great because you read it before you sold it, and I was like, oh my god, if you ever find another one, I would love to buy it from you, and you were like, no, I will find one for you. But what you sent along was Lady Hawk and Dragon Slayer, which I love Dragon Slayer, and I have. Which that movie could easily be an HMN main episode.
Wait,
we
still
did
need to...
Jason the Argonauts to dip our toe in doing
but
more.
Dragon Slayer
fantasy
is
stuff.
straight gore. There is a lot of murder in that movie.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'm gonna add that to the list.
But anyway, we
cheers to Spookies and all that shit.
Yeah.
We are adding a new but very short segment to our show, which we're going to just call What's New? And this is where we are just going to let you guys know all the cool stuff we have happening at Horror Movie Night HQ. Speaking of which, with Horror Movie Night HQ, go visit our website, hmnpodcast.com, because for the entire month of October, we are offering something in our store for 1 month only, and that is the Scare Package. For a undetermined price at the time that we're recording this, there will be a mystery box, basically. You tell us what shirt size you are, and we will send you any shirt that we have in that size. We will send you an enamel pin, a bar of soap, a Horror Movie Night branded bar of soap, a keychain or two, and all of the Horror Movie Night trading cards, and maybe some other prizes and gifts that we can find to throw in there to make it fun. And what will happen with this is that we will send you all of that stuff. Let us know in the notes when you order what shirts you may already have from us so we can avoid giving you a duplicate. And not only are you getting a bunch of great stuff for a good deal, that money will help. You're also helping us clear out our inventory a little bit and get some money to get brand new shirts for the new year, which is even more exciting. So definitely check that out. Hit up our Patreon. There's always great stuff there. And I don't have anything else to promote until December. So just seeing what you guys got before I do that.
Segment just like...
We're going to do it once a month.
Yeah. What do you guys got?
Oh, I honestly don't have anything because I just got back from RetroCon with Matt, and as of the recording of this, and we had a really good time, and I didn't buy a $150 copy of Chopping Mall on VHS because I am a fiscally responsible boy.
Kyle, do you have anything for October that you need to promote?
So as of this recording, I just came off of set with doing a short film with Peter Filardi, who is the writer of The Craft and Flatliners and Chapelwaite, if anybody watched that on Epix, which is based on Jerusalem's Lot, like the 30-page short of Stephen King. Nice. They made a 10-episode thing with Adrian Brody, like a period piece. It's crazy. But the dude lives near me, and we got linked up. And basically, obviously, like that's not something you can see right now. But we did a short last year, 2 years ago now. My son was 6 weeks old when I went and was the AD on this short, and boy, that was a whole thing. But it's called Hazardous, and it's online. You can check it out. It's a short about a man who goes to hypnotherapy in order to stop smoking. But what is presented and what it comes out during that session is a lot deeper and darker. But it's also funny, and it stars Roger Clark, who voiced Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2. So any gamers out there will probably know it too. But I really like working with Peter. He obviously started his career as a writer, but as any writer probably wants to do, they also want to direct at some point. So like these short films are like a really fun way for him to do it. And the one that we just shot reminded me of like very campy like 70s horror that I just so appreciate. It wasn't necessarily shot that way, but like the content of it is such. So but go check out Hazardous. If you just check out Hazardous Peter Filardi, it'll come up on YouTube.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It just dropped. It's playing at Film Quest, which is a big genre fest in Utah, but it's already available online, so you can check that out. But yeah, I really like working with Peter. I hope to work with him some more. And it's kind of fucking crazy to be like, oh, this is the writer of the craft.
Yeah.
Like,
and Flatliners. I like how you like just kind of toss Flatliners in there.
No, Flatliners is very important. If not, it's one of his first. He did like an episode of MacGyver or Miami Vice, like a couple of like spec things, and then just like Flatliners was it. And he just took off with Flatliners. So nice. It's really cool. He's a great dude. I hope to work with us some more.
And I'm just throwing this out there, guys. Mark your calendars. December 8th is going to be the Geekscape 24-hour holiday live stream for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northern and Coastal New Jersey. More information to come. I'm sure Horror Movie Night will be involved in some way, shape, or form, but that is still to be determined. TBD. To be determined.
Oh my God.
All right,
it's
so
a hint,
now,
everybody.
Now the final segment. Just a quick recommendation. What have we been checking out? What are we enjoying? What do we think people should check out? Obviously, as it has been and will unfortunately continue to be the case, we are standing with the actors and writers who are striking. I believe the most recent thing that I read was that we cannot talk about struck work. Struck work being specifically described as films currently in their promotion cycle or will be in their promotion cycle, or TV shows also under that category. I would just say play like a fast and loose 2 years or older rule if
that's
you want to talk about movie or television. But I'm going to kick us off with something that's neither of those things, because one of my favorite podcasts just started its newest season, although it's a continuation of last season. You Must Remember This is continuing their epically long coverage called Sex in the 90s, where they are going through the entire history of sex in film through the 90s and the way that it was kind of used and weaponized in a lot of ways, in a variously different ways. One of the episodes was about The Crush with Alicia Silverstone. This week's episode, at the time that I'm recording this, when they kicked off the new season, we are officially in 1996. So it's talking about Wild Side and Bound specifically, and the way that Wild Side was dramatically re-released as a way to capitalize on Anne Heche coming out as queer. The fucked up way that was handled. And similar with how Bound is an interesting movie to watch now, because it was written by the same twin duo that did The Matrix when they were in their birth gender, and how this movie got absolutely shit on critically as like, how can these two straight men write about the lesbian experience? And they were like, this could have a really strong hand on why it took so long for the Wachowskis to come out as trans, because it was clearly from film number one. Like that's why they said, like, you rewatch the Matrix trilogy now and it's way more coded and not as direct, the sexuality and gender stuff that they're trying to talk about, because of how Bound was received by the critics. So great, well-researched podcast. Check it out. And I always said I would promote a Geekscape podcast. And I mean, this had a Christmas town in it. So why not promote my own show this time with Christmas 365, me and Dylan? That time of year is right around the corner. So get subscribing.
Hey, Matt, you can get fucked because it is spooky season and not Christmas season.
Well,
you get to have your Christmas season.
Listen, the same week that this came out, our episode on Christmas 365 will be what classic Christmas character would you want to have a horror movie franchise built around? So we're leaning into spooky season all October with
That's
our picks.
That's the lead in, man. You're burying the lead. Jeez.
All right, Kyle or Scott, what do you guys got?
Kyle, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, the only thing that I've been watching is Sister Wives on TLC, not a struck company and not an issue as far as our strikes go. But goddamn, what I do take issue with is this shouldn't be on TV anymore. This family is falling
Wait, is it new?
apart.
Is it a new season of Sister Wives?
Of Sister Wives.
Because geez, that's like how many years has
all
this been
but
happening?
All but one wife is leaving. The one wife left last season, and 2 are leaving this season, and everybody's losing their faith, and this family is falling apart, and it honestly should not be televised. I actually feel like I'm watching, like I'm a big voyeur now. But
That's all reality TV is, though, right?
and that's all reality. But it is, and I feel like I'm actually seeing how the machine of reality TV has destroyed a family's life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, if anybody has watched any of the Duggar stuff, which is like not how reality TV has destroyed a life, but more about how lives are destroyed and then put on a pedestal or presented by reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
This actually feels like the opposite. It's like, I don't necessarily agree with a lot of their faith and moral compass, right? However, it's like they were functioning and not necessarily hurting anybody, maybe just their internal family systems.
Yeah.
And that's still not an excuse. I just mean it's a little bit different, right?
Sure.
But man, this show really helped destroy this family, and it is crazy to watch. So I'm watching that in my spare time, feeling really good about myself.
Sometimes you just need to see the rocks at the bottom of the pond to feel like you're on top of the pond.
Shit, and I'll swim right back up.
Yep.
I'll go.
Yeah.
It's not a suggestion.
This is supposed to be recommendations. Here, I'll give you guys a recommendation then. I have been reading more, and I am not completely done, but done enough with a collection of stories to give it the thumbs up. Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung. It's she's a South Korean novelist. I don't know if she's done novels, but this is all short horror, and it's very, very good. Very interesting because it does the thing with, and I don't want to cast too wide of a net here, but it feels like there's a lot in I don't know if it's just Korean culture, or if it's a larger diaspora of, Asiatic cultures but the women that write and present horrific things seem to talk a lot about the lack of bodily autonomy, and it's kind of more of a it's a lot of body horror, and it kind of, I think, is a reflection of lack of bodily autonomy in real life and societal pressures for their relatively strict gender roles. So good. But even the stories that don't really talk about that in Cursed Bunny are very good. Just very, very interesting. I don't want to make an analog of what she reminds me of. She's very good at kind of doing lateral thinking on how monsters work, how horror works, because it's not really jump scary. And that's what it's more dread. And I really like that about it because, and maybe it's just because I read a lot of Clive Barker short stories now, but it gives me it scratches a lot of the itches of the books of blood, where it's like these terrible things are going to happen. the protagonist is going to die, probably in a horrific way, and you're just basically watching it happen in slow motion because you're reading it. So yeah, I mean, I don't really think she writes like Clive Barker, but I feel like there is an energy there that's very similar. But again, I don't want to make her an analog of what he does. But very, very good. Highly recommend. I picked it up at Barnes & Noble as a blind buy because of the cover, and I was looking for more short horror, and it's a really good collection. Highly recommend. Bora Chung.
Sometimes you can, in fact, judge a book by its cover.
This is what I fear.
There we go. And next week we'll have other things to fear, like whatever I picked. So stay tuned for more Horror Movie Night.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.